was a day I'll never forget. Dawn had come and the rays of the sun made the morning dew seem magical. I was walking among the trees, enjoying the birds singing and the smell of the moist forest ground and the tickle of the soft breeze. It was a morning as so many others, carefree and peaceful. But as I stood basking in the wonders of the forest, I heard the sound of a horn that pulled me from the moment. A hunting horn. Oh, how I hated the human hunters. They came down from their stone castle with their dogs and bows, hunting deers or foxes, not for food, but as if it was some kind of game. The humans had always wanted the forest, probably to tear it down and build more of their fields and castles. But the elves had always been in the forest and they weren't going to let it be destroyed. They had had several wars fought between them over the centuries, but there had been peace for several decades. The humans were allowed to hunt in the forest. Father said that helped keep the peace. Father had always told me to stay away from the humans. They didn't bother my people and we didn't bother them. As I turned to leave, I saw a white horse enter the glade, a beautiful, strong and mild beast. And that's when I saw him. Mounted on the horse sat a man, a human, of such grace that it rivaled that of the most noble of elves. He had long curls of brown hair, a firm jaw, and eyes the color of hazel. He saw me as I stood there in the middle of the glade, half naked and carefree. He looked at me, and a feeling I'd never felt before came over me. As his eyes met mine, my knees buckled, and I had to focus not to stumble. We stared at each other for moments. There was a certain intensity in his eyes. My whole body warmed, and all I wanted was him. The man on the horse gave me a slight nod and rode away. I ran back to my people. I told no one of the human, thought it best not to. My father would not be pleased. As the oldest of our tribe, his word was well respected, and for good reason. He had seen wars, lost friends and family, and had through centuries learned how to navigate this world of wonders and dangers.
Humans and elves are of different spirits,
he'd always say. I knew I should listen to him, but I couldn't stop thinking of the man on the white steed. The next morning I went to the glade again, as I always did, but this time I went with the hope that the man would be there, that he would ride into the glade like he had done the day before. When I arrived, the glade was as it usually was, peaceful. My heart sank. But what had I expected? I see a human once and all of a sudden I heard the steps of a horse. My heart began to race, and there he was again, riding into the glade. He stopped and our eyes locked. God, he was handsome. He jumped down from the horse and walked over to me. I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt like running, I felt like screaming, I felt like laughing. And then he stood in front of me. I could smell the mix of leather, iron, in his skin. I looked down, shy. He put his hand under my jaw and gently led my gaze up to meet his.
Do you have a name?
He asked in the common tongue. Ylthina, I answered.
Ylthina. What a beautiful name. I'm Lance.
Lance.
Is this forest your home?
Yes. He looked around and then back at me.
Both name and home are beautiful. Like you.
He smiled and then went back to his horse and mounted it.
Shall I see you again tomorrow?
He asked. I couldn't hide my smile. I nodded and he rode off. We met every morning after that. We spoke of our lives, our people, our ways. I told him of our tribe, of how we had lived in the forest for centuries. He told me of his family, of his title and estate. He was the son of a nobleman. He spoke of honor and respect. He was nothing like the humans Father had warned me of. He was different. For weeks we simply spoke. We would hold hands. Oh, how I loved when he held my hand in his. He made me feel safe, alive, special. One day when I was telling him of my father, he leaned in and kissed me on the lips. At first I didn't know what to do, but then I returned his kiss. We made love, then and there in the glade, among the wonders of the forest. I've never felt more joy, more loved, more complete. The morning after, Lance came, carrying something in his hand, a folded bundle of soft cloth.
For you.
He held it out to me, and when I let it unfurl, the sunlight caught its silky fabric. A dress as white as the clouds in the sky. I laughed, asking what was the occasion.
It is for the day when both our people can forget the tragedies of the past, and our love can be seen by all.
Our love. Oh, Lance. As the weeks turned to months, we started to discuss how we could tell our families of our love. We wanted the bond between us to be known. We wanted to marry, to have children. But for Lance to marry a wild elf? It wasn't what his father would expect from him. When he spoke of his father, there was always a pause, as though he weighed each word before letting it go. His father meant so much to him, like mine did to me. But I also knew that me, with a human, my father would shun me. But it was what I wanted. I wanted him. I wanted us. And so did Lance. Then one day, he said that he had told his father about me and that his father wanted to meet me. I was ecstatic. Lance smiled, but for a fleeting moment I wondered why his smile didn't reach his eyes. The thought faded. I went to their stone castle, a large, terrible, and fascinating place. Here were servants, maids, knights, noblemen, and noblewomen, who were all important to Lance. His father was an old man, by human standards, but he was pleasant. His name was Gamrot. He had a warm smile, yet his eyes sometimes lingered on me, uncomfortably long. I understood. He was trying to assess his son's choice. He wanted only the best for him, and so did I. Fortunately, he did see the good in me, for after dining at the castle, laughing and enjoying ourselves, he let us know that he approved of our union and welcomed me to stay and live with them. I could be with Lance every day. I doubted my father would approve, but I wanted to be with Lance, no matter the cost. When I came back to my tribe, I talked with my father. I told him of my love, of Lance. My father was furious.
I forbid it. Countless elves have lost their lives to the humans.
He said. He said that Lance's father was a vicious and evil man.
He's evil.
But he didn't know him. He hadn't met him.
You can't trust him.
They had thought the same of us until they met me. There has been peace for over 2 decades. Things change, Father. Humans change. But my father would not listen. I went to the castle several times during the next month. Lance, noble and honest as he was, would not marry me until he had my father's blessing. I pleaded with my father, day and night. And it was getting to him. I could tell. He was being protective, but in the end, my father wanted what was best for me. He wanted me to be happy. Then one day, Gamrot came, scroll in hand.
Give this to your father.
It was an official invitation to the castle.
A union between you and my son will guarantee everlasting peace.
He was right. When presenting the invitation, I pleaded with my father again. Please, one visit, that is all I ask. See them as I do. His eyes softened, but the lines on his brow only deepened.
One visit. For you, my daughter.
He said at last, voice heavy. Reluctantly, my father agreed. I told Lance the same day. He smiled, but something so quick I almost missed it passed over his expression. I understood. He was probably afraid that my father wouldn't approve of him. But I was certain that once my father saw Lance for the man that I knew him to be, he'd know he was the best choice for his daughter. The next day came and I couldn't contain my happiness. My father would meet the humans and he would see them as I did. He would finally meet Lance. My father, 10 of his best soldiers, and I went to the castle. Our love would be known by all, and as I had promised so many months ago, I wore the white dress Lance had given me. As we entered the great hall, There were no guests, only servants and soldiers, and no food had been brought in yet. It seemed a little strange, but it didn't matter. Lance was there, standing beside his father. I ran to him, his embrace awaiting me.
Oh, Lance.
I gave him a quick kiss and turned to Gamrot. "My lord, this is my beloved father." Gamrot smiled at me, and so did Lance, but something felt wrong. The air was too still. Servants glanced towards the walls. Soldiers shifted their weight, and a faint scent of oil and steel reached my nose. Then bolts flew. Chaos erupted. My father's guards drew their blades, shouts rang out, and the clash of steel filled the air. I spun towards Lance, searching for his hand, but all of a sudden, searing pain tore through my side. My legs gave way. I fell, heart hammering in my ears. Lance's face swam above me, unreadable. Lance? Then darkness took me. I awoke, or part of me did. The hall was a blur of motion, soldiers scattering, the dead strewn across stone. It was hard to focus. I felt cold and out of breath. I looked around and saw Gamrot, his face pale, eyes wide with something I'd never seen in him before. Fear. I turned and saw my father, bloodied and lifeless, his armor pierced by dozens of crossbow bolts. My loving father. I couldn't make sense of it all. And then I saw him, Lance, standing a few paces away. I started towards him, but froze. At his feet lay a body in a white dress, blood spilling from a gaping wound. It was my white dress, my hair, my face. It was me. My breath caught, yet the body on the floor did not draw breath. A strange chill seeped into me, as though the air itself recoiled from my skin. The hall swam, shapes bending at the end of my vision. I could hear every heartbeat, quick, terrified, but one was missing. Mine. I stared, not understanding, clinging to the thought that there had to be some mistake. My gaze rose from my body to Lance's hand. I saw the dagger in his grip, blood dripping from the steel. My blood. And then it dawned upon me. Betrayal. I was never loved. Lance never loved me. From somewhere beyond the grave, anger boiled inside my very soul. Anger and a sorrow beyond mortal comprehension. It couldn't be contained. It wouldn't be contained. A scream began deep within my bones, a sound that was not a voice but a tearing of the soul. When it tore free, the air itself shuddered. Men clutched their chests and fell. I saw Gamrot collapse, face frozen in a mask of horror. Lance staggered back, his hazel eyes wide with fear. And then they glazed over in death, and all was still. I had lost everything. My father, my life, my Lance. I wailed again. Now I roam the castle, searching for something. For how long it has been so, I do not know. The living hear my cry and know despair, and all I can think of is Lance and his betrayal. I loved you, Lance. I still do.
Greetings, and thank you for watching The Tower of Tomes. The artwork in this story was created by the talented Tara. She reached out to me offering to do some artwork for The Tower of Tomes, and after I saw her work, I said yes immediately, for obvious reasons. I put a link in the description to her social media so you can see more of her artwork, so go check that out. And while you're at it, go check out the Tower of Tomes Patreon page for even more Tower of Tomes content. Your support means the world and really keeps me going. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.